Hi there, I'm Speedy from Magic Item Tech and this is Game Development Video Log Episode 7. A short entry this time about the tile graphics of Am Overburdened. It is going to be a bit tutorial-ish, I hope it will be useful. Plus, before I jump into the final looks of the tiles and the tutorial, I'll show some ideas, mockups and dead ends leading to the current design.
Let us begin.
I really like the style of the open art assets I used for prototyping. Pixel art, huge value differences between the wall and the floor tiles, and a little noise to make it a bit grimy looking. Still, I wanted to try some other ideas before settling on anything, so I went ahead and made some mockups. The most interesting and furthest developed one was a tile set and look with a oblique top-down view effect. I think this looks really good in many games, but sometimes it can get too exaggerated, covering too much of the entity sprites. I came up with this picture, but I decided to scrap the idea. I liked it, sort of, but making multiple varied sets for the 30 to 60 minute long campaign and fully fleshing them out in this style would require an immense amount of work. I chose the original simple style with a decent amount of variation instead. So I returned to the looks of the prototype. Easily distinguishable wall and floor tiles, noisy and grimy places, since it is an old dungeon after all, and good variations, many sets and small randomization within each set too, so it does not become boring during a full playthrough. I only needed a cool palette, something murky. While picking colors, I naturally deviated towards the looks of a game I always cherished for its atmosphere. Colors were picked carefully for supporting the look of the entity sprites, as they will use a marginally different palette, full of contrasting colors instead of saturated ones, to make them pop from the terrain, again just like in the prototype. Here goes some gameplay footage showcasing the results. I have 10 different tile sets ready, which I suspect will provide a good variety. With 30-ish level deep dungeons, a set change will happen after every 3 levels. Now let's jump onto the how-to part. For creating a lot of pixel art tiles, like the ones I made, you are going to need a frame, so to say some rules and patterns how you start pixeling each tile, and afterwards some patience because a lot of experimentation will make them really shine. That is all to it actually. I walk through the creation of one. I use the free and cross-platform GNU image manipulation program, but pixel art can be done just as well in a lot of paint programs. Even in Windows Paint, but I advise you to choose a better one which supports layers. A graphics tool like Pixel Edit, which can work with tiles, or a hot reload engine feature for automatically reloading modified assets also helps a lot, since you can check while you are drawing whether your graphics work well when tiled instantly. First, I usually start with selecting values for the whole set. This is a handy technique for defining an overall lightness and darkness balance for each tile set. In the sample picture here, the approximate amount of each value to be used is also shown. Then I sketch a simple pattern for a tile using the values. This can be anything fitting the theme of the game, a brick pattern or a cavern wall. Let your creativity free at this point. The next step is defining lighting and material. I usually paint this with a light source residing in a northwest direction, but this can depend heavily on the setting and places of the game. Then I add a little variation like cracks, missing bricks, mixing up the pattern, etc. A simple trick as an example is removing some bricks from a big brick wall by flipping the lighting and darkening it a little more. Details like vines or stains can be added after coloring is done, but this step alone makes enough difference between tiles. The next and a pretty important step for defining the looks is coloring. I know simply selecting the same hue for the given values feels easy, but it makes the outcome look kinda boring. Try to make colors interesting by selecting at least 2 different hues and by playing with the saturation a little. It will make a huge difference. At this point the tile is already looking nice. The next step is optional. Adding noise was a deliberate style choice in my case. You simply add an extra set of values with only slight changes relative to the originally used ones. Noise color selection should be done the same way as the normal colors. This allows great control over the outcome. I generate a noise pattern and overlay the noise colors on top of the tile using it as a mask. A little footage with the final outcome. You can follow or track the progress of the game on regular contacts. As always, I'm open for questions, comments and critique. Please leave them below the video. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned.